Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, DP_TRD Pro. My friends at LED Factory Mart, they reached out and wanted me to do a review and installation on these really awesome Tacoma headlights. These are some beautiful headlights. Comparison to the OEM, I actually have the original headlights from factory. These will be my first set of aftermarket headlights. The first thing that you need to do is remove the grille. The grille is held in by two of these 10mm bolts. One's here, one right there. We also have some plastic clips. Boom. And boom. If you have a TSS sensor, you will also have to unplug and remove this clip. I definitely recommend taking your time when working the grill out or any other pieces, and having plenty of cardboard or moving blankets to set your parts on, because these will scratch. Okay, next we will remove these wind deflector things. They're held in by these clips here, and there's also like built-in clips that you have to work out. Boom. See right there. You can see it's held in there, and let's see, held in down here. It would not hurt to disconnect your battery to be on the safe side. That being said, I am not a professional. Anything that you install on your own vehicle is at your own risk. Okay, now that I have the wind deflectors removed, you can see that there is plenty of access to get inside of this area behind the fog light and underneath the headlight, where you will need access to these, let's see if we can get in there, these tabs that are circled right there. Your headlight has two bolts up here that are pretty easy to remove, but they have one bolt that's sitting right behind this bumper. You can see the seam is right here, and that is why we have to remove those, or loosen those clips to pop this off just enough to loosen the bumper out to get access to that 10mm bolt underneath here. To loosen up the fender flare, you also need to remove this 10mm bolt, this clip right here. Okay, these are the clips you can see. One is up here too. To get more slack in the bumper, you can also remove these 6 clips. You loosen those up, and then with some work and maneuvering, you pop these clips. It'll make some loud noises, and then you have access to this bolt right here. Okay, so you can see here that we have the headlight is out. The only thing that's connected is the bulbs right here. I did notice that there's a little groove here that the headlight likes to hook right there. And then you also have this little pokey thing here that gets caught. So, you know, if you don't have plenty of light, you may miss a few of those. I basically tilted it and pushed it out this way. Here you can see where the fender bolt right there. So my OEM headlights, they're in mint condition. I take really good care of them. I'm going to attempt to keep it that way. This is my possible solution. We'll see. Just use some cling wrap, multiple layers is what I had on me on hand. This gives you an idea of what the OEM headlights look like. I do have aftermarket bulbs for the headlights. Okay, let's knock out the driver's side since that's the easier one. Just like the instructions will tell you, you will, on your high beams, you got your high beam, low beam, turn signal marker lights. So in the high beam, you will line up the red wire to the white, solid white wire. So mine's dirty, but you can see that this one has a stripe on it. This one is solid. So the solid one lines up with the red. For your low beams, you will line up the brown wire with the red wire. And the other thing I noticed too is that there's a groove inside of the clip, and it actually plugs in opposite of the groove, which could be deceiving, but that's why we have these instructions. You can see the groove, it actually goes opposite of the groove. Can't really plug this in with one hand, but you get the picture. Brown, red, groove is opposite, so we can't go off of grooves. The turn signal and the marker light's pretty easy because they're a very distinctive and can only go in one way. And then you have your DRLs. If you have DRLs, my Tacoma came with DRLs. That's a very distinctive 3-wire. You can see the dead plug. There's the 4th one is bare. And then the same with this side. On the OEM side, you'll see this side is bare, so that's pretty straightforward. For mine, I just plugged these in. Actually, these 4 in. Those pretty straightforward because they're both aftermarket, so it's straightforward. These do not go to my vehicle, and then this plugs into the headlight. This is the driver's side. Now for the passenger side, everything for the most part is the same except for the high beams and the low beams. So that's what threw me off, is because the OEM harness, your high beam has yellow, which over there is a white, and then over here you have blue on one side, white with a black stripe. So I lined it up brown with the blue, and on this side I did the red with the yellow. So for me, I put it in the other way and I blew a fuse, which was pretty easy to replace, and I will show you that as well, but it's in correctly and everything works. Okay, now for the fuse. I'd already removed this top lid, but basically I just laid it on top to show you. You have 3 clips. You just press those, lift up. Underneath it, you have a little bit of a diagram. Here are the fuse pliers. You have some spare fuses here, and this is the fuses that we're looking at. So you have larger fuses. I believe it's the 20 and the 15. If you notice that both sides of your high beams and low beams do not work, then you'd have to replace these. Mine, only one side, which was the passenger side, was out on the high beams and low beams. So you have these two, or I'm sorry, these two right here. Let me zoom in. Mine was this is the passenger side, I believe low beams. And then this was the passenger side high beams. And I had to replace those two, or actually this one right here. Also, wouldn't hurt to note that these are the tiny fuses. You know, don't go to the store and just buy any fuse. I went to Napa, they had a nice selection. Probably like $5, something like that. Hope that helps. Okay, so as you're maneuvering this, I basically slowly peeled some of this off because it'll get trapped under the fender. You want to have as much of your surface covered as possible because, you know, as you're working it in, this is a moving situation, and it could also scratch your paint or your lens here. I also use rags as well. What a beautiful sight. Always test everything before you bolt everything back up. Organize all of your bolts and clips. I use blue tape for the driver's side. This is the passenger side since I started with that side. You can see I was lazy with a couple of these Ziplocs.